Hi guys, this is Alan from C1 Transportation. I have good news. We are hiring over-the-road drivers with 2 or more years of experience. Our drivers make $100,000 to $120,000 a year driving 3 to 4 weeks at a time. Don't miss your chance to start driving with C1 Transportation and call our recruiter right now.
Needed flatbed drivers for Step Deck and Conestoga with opportunity, direct deposit weekly, sign-on bonuses, paid orientation and paid clean inspections, $2,000, $2,300 based on driver's performance. New equipment 2022 and 23 trucks and trailers. Fast maintenance at our shop located at the yard. 24/7 assistance, weekly pay on direct deposit. Flexible home time, dedicated all year-round projects. Sign-on bonus, $125 per month for 1 year plus 1 week paid vacation. Travel and lodging provided during orientation and breakdown. Earning on average from $85,000 to $100,000 per year gross. Paid orientation $75 per day for qualified drivers. Looking for a better job? Join us, C1 Transportation.
Hello guys, how you doing? My name is Robert Mitten. As you can see, I'm part of the C1 team. C1 is gonna be #1. I had a Class B CDL license for about 4 years. I just upgraded to a Class A. When it comes to experience, I have about 6 months experience. I found this company by a good friend of mine named Andy. He also helped my cousin get in named Ricardo. And we have a friend of mine named Twan. He's here with us. It's a great company to work for. It's a growing company. Also, my supervisor, Danny, he's the best. He's a real good guy, man. Hey, Danny. With all the other drivers, everybody here, we all get along. We work together as a team. That's pretty much it, guys. Just, if you're interested, apply. It's a great company to work for. The staff is perfect. C1 is gonna be #1.
Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. SBS offers live telecasts on Channel 59.3, YouTube, or Twitch. We include pre- and post-game interviews with the players.
I started in the locker room. All the boys were getting going before the game and stuff, and we kind of found a little click at the beginning of the game, so I think that's what got us going.
We also include digital live statistics, play-by-play commentary, team highlight reels, and even more than that. Go online to sportsbroadcastsolutions.com or search Sports Broadcast Solutions on YouTube. SBS, a broadcasting network for everyone.
Missing your child's sporting event just plain stinks. But you don't have to worry about that anymore, thanks to Sports Broadcast Solutions. SBS is a live broadcasting network, as well as covering your on-demand needs, recruiting videos, highlight reels, and much, much more. We can broadcast live to any website, and we also post as much on-demand content as you need. For more information about SBS, check out our website at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Sports Broadcast Solutions, a broadcasting network for everyone.
Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. Let SBS broadcast your sporting event. We have experience and can generate excitement and permanent digital memories for your team.
Tonight. That time, finally a goal for the Stampede!
We have professional videographers using high-definition modern-day cameras, color analysts, and play-by-play announcers with state-of-the-art, classy graphical scoreboards to keep you updated. Plus, we have commercials to advertise your team, club, or sponsor, and us. Plus, we do pregame and postgame interviews.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the postgame show brought to you by Marion Central Catholic. My name's Kyle Smith, but my name doesn't matter. These young ladies matter. It's senior night as the Hurricanes win a battle down the stretch, 48-46.
Hi, I'm Carrie Kramer. I swim 50 breast, 50 free, and 100 back.
Whatever your sports broadcast needs, we are at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Check us out and become part of the digital sporting world. Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. For those of you who would like to broadcast or live stream your event, or maybe make a highlight tape but would like a sponsor to fund the event, SBS has a myriad of ways to advertise your sponsor during our broadcasts. We have commercials. We have on-air reads by the announcers.
Albatross Physical Therapy and Wellness specializes in pain-free.
We have graphics. And we have watermarks. Finally, Sports Broadcast Solutions can create a commercial for you or your sponsor. Whatever your sports broadcast needs, we are at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Check us out and become part of the digital sporting world.
Hi guys, this is Alan from C1 Transportation. I have good news. We are hiring over-the-road drivers with 2 or more years of experience. Our drivers make $100,000 to $120,000 a year driving 3 to 4 weeks at a time. Don't miss your chance to start driving with C1 Transportation and call our recruiter right now.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Sports Broadcast Solutions, a broadcasting network for everyone. Kyle Smith alongside Anthony Collada. Anthony's also on videography duties today. Chi Nation, the home team, they're taking on Springfield. Here are the starting lineups that's brought to you by Sports Broadcast Solutions, a broadcasting network for everyone. For Springfield, 00s, Josh Jones. Number 2, Evan Powney. Number 4, Albert Nimako. Number 5, Terrence Bino. Number 6, Frankie Rodriguez. Number 7, Nate Chung. Number 8, Aaron Diopierre. Number 11, Tajay Small. Number 12, get that for you in a second. Number 12, Connor Cardiff. Number 13, Will Teichman. And number 14, Billy Zajiwami. Now that is a name right there, Anthony. Zajiwami. I don't know Springfield too much because we haven't seen him yet this year, but if I was unbiased of who I want to win the game, I want Zajiwami to get the game-winning goal.
Just purely off name value, absolutely, Kyle.
It's a cold day today, Anthony, so how's that going to factor into the conditions in terms of conditioning and the adversity that both teams are going to face tonight?
Yeah, a couple things that these players are going to want to keep in mind is to make sure that they're staying warm. If they got to do some high knees up and down the sideline while they're on the break, you know, whatever they got to do, have some hand warmers in their pockets, make sure they're staying stretched out, and making sure they're keeping those muscles warm. And then as for, you know, kicking the ball and whatever, you got to make sure you're hitting that ball right because you might get a little stinger on your foot or something there. So making sure that everything is staying warm and you stay moving.
It's going to be a cold one. It's in the upper 30s tonight. Here is the starting lineup, by the way, for the Chicago Nation FC team. The defenders, Sutton, Labovich, Strain, and Budrek, they're doing a 4-3-3 lineup tonight. The midfielders, Butler, McLeod, Dizdarevich, and the attacker/forwards/strikers, however you want to call them, Solka, Capitanos, and Lopez. So they're going with the 4-3-3 tonight, Anthony. They want to score, but they're a little conservative as well. They're going to have 4 men back on defense, will Chicago Nation.
Yeah, and, I think that kind of plays into the cold weather a little bit. Might be moving a little slower, want to protect, especially early in the game, and then you can push on offense later. You get a lead, then you kind of fall back again to that defensive mindset.
So we will take a break. The national anthem coming up next here on SBS, a broadcasting network for everyone.
Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. SBS offers live telecasts on Channel 59.3, YouTube, or Twitch. We include pre- and post-game interviews with the players.
I started in the locker room. All the boys were getting going before the game and stuff, and we kind of found a little click at the beginning of the game, so I think that's what got us going.
We also include digital live statistics, play-by-play commentary, team highlight reels, and even more than that. Go online to sportsbroadcastsolutions.com or search Sports Broadcast Solutions on YouTube. SBS, a broadcasting network for everyone.
And with the termination of the national anthem, that means it's time to play some football, or soccer, as they say in America. It's Springfield against Shy Nation. Final thoughts, partner? I say Shy Nation will win this one 2-0 over the visiting Springfield team.
It's going to be a good one. You got Springfield in their second game of the season. Shy Nation kicking off their season tonight. I'm sure the emotions are high. The teams are ready. They're jumping around. They're looking to stay warm. So we get this one started here.
45-minute halves. If there's anything wrong with the broadcast, just text 330-957-7653 or go on the live chat. It is activated tonight. Chicago Nation FC and the United Premier Soccer League, they were in the national championship game for the 2021 spring season. And they've gone to a couple of Sweet 16s. They were in the Elite 8 for the summer of 2022. Last year they lost in the round of 16. This is their first matchup. The game against Madison was canceled, so that does not count in the standings. After this, they will not have a game for a couple weeks. They play Panathinaikos Chicago. That is a Greek name if I've ever seen it. And then they'll be back home against Goshen City. That's an early game. And they switched the times. It now says Pacific time on the website instead of Central time. So 7:30 Central, 5:30 Pacific. It'll be Shy Nation's ball. They're in the white, red, and blue. Springfield in the blue, red, and white. And here we go. Play starts in the United Premier Soccer League. Actually, I think United Premier Soccer League is in the red, blue, and white. More of a light blue than anything. Springfield in the very beige white colors. Played right now by Springfield in their own territory. As it gets past midfield, Springfield looking to get a win. About a 3 to 4 hour drive from Springfield here to COD Stadium, just outside of Chicago. We've seen number 4, that's Albert Nimako with the ball a lot. As both teams, partner, they're not really playing with a lot of energy right now. Some light-footed passes, and I get it. It's cardio is big in the game of soccer also. It's 90 minutes, and it's cold out tonight.
Yeah, didn't expect them to start off as slow as they have with, being in the beginning of the season, but got to warm up those muscles. Don't want to pull a hammy early.
Isaac Sutton with the overhead pass, gets it over to Lebovic, and it gets past. He gets it to his defensive teammate, his center back, playing it at the 30-yard line. Both teams very conservative on their respective attacks. Sutton now at midfield, and then a backwards kick back to his defensive teammate in Lebovic. Good saucer pass to get it past the D. Taking it now is Voisa. Actually, sorry, that's not Voisa, that's McLeod. And now played at defense. It's a 4-3-3 lineup tonight for Chicago Nation FC. Their first attack of the night at the 15-yard line. Very high. I don't know about that, partner. I think it was a little bit too far away for that shot. What do you think?
Yeah, he certainly was further away from the net on that one. Going to look to try to push it closer to the net and maybe execute a couple of passes and get a better shot next time.
It also wasn't at a great angle either. Even if it was on net, should have been an easy goal. I know you're trying to get those rebound tries, but from the 12-yard line, remember the goal is at the end of the end zone, so you're at the 12. It's really a 22-yard kick, and so pretty tough to convert that into a goal there or even a rebound try. Meanwhile, Springfield deep in their own territory, played at their own 20. And Sutton got a piece of it. He is slow to get up. Here comes Springfield on the foot of Zajiwami, and they stay on the attack. Now paid by Lebovic. They're keeping it into Shy Nation. Dizdarevic had it briefly. Look at that nutmeg pass. Getting it over to Lebovic. And now play deep in their own territory. Springfield, are you surprised, partner, that they're not all in on their attack right now? I know that they're a little tired from the drive up here, but they look a little sluggish in terms of getting the ball back.
They do. I am a little surprised. And you rattled off how much success that they've had. And, I kind of thought that they would come out with a little more firepower on offense to start.
Yes, right now, Shy Nation taking it to Springfield. This is their second attack of the night. Dizdarevic, he was their leading goal scorer last year, and he's trying to pick up where he left off. The difference between MLS and the United Premier Soccer League, partner, in the MLS, there's always a ball boy for something like that. And this level, you got to get your own ball.
There's got to be a little kid in the stands we can pay a couple of bucks to go get the ball for us, right?
Remember, with inflation, it's $3, not $2.
I think we can make that arrangement.
Gets tired out there, but then again, when it's cold like this, sometimes you want to run more to keep your body going, keep that adrenaline flowing. Corner kick. Gets it out in front, but read well by Springfield. A header and then a kick. Volleys it past the 40. And Sutton and Shy Nation will have to reset. Played back to the defense. To the center back, in fact. Actually, no, that's the goalie in Peru, Demoneghai. He is a pure Spanish speaker, Anthony. He does not speak any English. He grew up in Mexico.
That's pretty interesting that he's found his way up here and on the Shy Nation team.
He was part of that team that won the Central Division in 2022. He did not play in the 2022 fall season, as we're now into 2023 spring season. Springfield definitely looking sluggish, and let's see if Shy Nation could score early on. We're in the 5th minute. Looking for Sutton, who usually plays defense, but he's attacking up at midfield right now. Springfield deep in their own territory, trying to get it out. And partner, that was close to a corner at the last second, kicked out by Springfield, but Najibwami had some trouble getting that ball out.
Yeah, it's Springfield doing everything that they can right now to try to stop this push from Shy Nation.
Dizdarevic, he's got space, falls to the turf. That was on his own accord. No foul. In front. Oh, look at that pass. No look pass. They're going to set up in front, headed away by Springfield. Now played by Shy Nation's Reed Strain. At the boundary, kicked up in front. And the netminder and Josh Jones got both hands on it. And they'll reset in their own territory.
Another long shot there from Shy Nation. Real easy for the goalie there to catch that one and see it in.
Springfield has not done much of anything on their attack. In fact, they've had trouble getting it past midfield. It's been a lot of passing, about 10 to 20 yards in front of their own goalie. At the boundary, read well by Sutton, kept in by Shy Nation, past the foot of Sutton. And partner, Shy Nation's winning every battle right now. Even when it goes past the foot of the intended target, there's a guy speeding and hustling to the play to get the pass.
Well, that's all about positioning there, partner. I mean, when you know where the ball is going to be and you position yourself right, the ball just ends up coming right to you and you can start again on the offense.
Off the foot, feeding at that time to Naranjo, and here comes Shy Nation. Great left-footed kick. Another left-footed kick, partially blocked. Getting in the way of it was Terrence Bino, but another corner coming up for Shy Nation. And the relentless pressure of Shy Nation. We'll see if Josh Jones can hang in there between the pipes for Springfield.
Yeah, great way to help out your goalie there from Bino with that sliding block. Kicks it out of bounds. We're running after it again.
Dizdarevich will set it up. This time it got slightly deflected so it doesn't go all the way to the other end. One of these days, Anthony, we're going to have an April 1st night where it's not 35 degrees, but 2023 is not one of those years.
No, it's not, unfortunately.
It's a one bounce kick, read well by Springfield. Slide tackle, more of a defensive play than anything. And we'll see what the ref signals. Might have been last touched by Springfield, actually, but nobody from Shy Nation going after it initially. And it is indeed Shy Nation ball.
Getting a little fan assistance there.
You know, you want to get out of your seat and move, because if you just stay seated, you're going to feel it. It's not going to feel good either.
Not to mention on the cold bleachers as well.
Naranjo plays it to midfield. Good kick out to the boundary. Read well by Springfield, though. And now an overhead pass coming up for Springfield. Najawami has it. And he gets it back to his goalie. They're going the wrong way, partner. You want to go up with it, not back to your own goalie.
Seems like they've been doing it a lot here in these first early minutes of this game. Gonna want to try to find a way to move the ball down the field.
What do you think Shy Nation is doing so well that's making it tough for Springfield to get it out of their own area?
Well, I think they've got great ball pressure. First of all, they're not letting Springfield get a whole lot of room to move and dribble the ball, and then they're playing the passing lane so well that Springfield just can't get anything going.
Well, the few times we've seen the ball in Shy Nation's own territory, but every time it's in their own zip code, they get it out quickly. Well, partner, you get 3 points for a win, 1 point for a tie. You don't play for the tie, but the way Springfield's playing, we just haven't seen enough offensive pressure to think they're going to score one past Peru, Deb, and Egg High. So the tie would be the second best thing, of course. But can they hang on for 90 total minutes, not including extra time?
Well, this is a long time that Springfield would be trying to hold off Shy Nation if they're trying to play defense for 90 minutes.
What's the old saying? You play to win, not to lose. But for Springfield, you're going to have to make some adjustments. They can't get it past midfield. And like you said, partner, they're clogging up the passing lanes and making it tough for Shy Nation to get any shots. I mean, making it tough for themselves to get pressure and get some shots on net. Can't get it out of their own territory. The breakout plays have been pretty non-existent.
And here, as much as of a sense of urgency that Springfield is not playing with, you can obviously say it on the flip side that Shy Nation has come out ready to play in this first game of the season for them.
We'll call that a shot, but more of a tap pass than anything.
I think that's going to be one of the easiest saves that goalie sees all season long.
Hey, if you've ever seen the Sports Center not top 10, there's no such thing as an easy save in soccer. Sometimes the goalie's not ready for it. He falls down and goes past his 5-hole into the back of the net. But yeah, you're right. That's a pretty easy save. That's like the definition of an easy save, especially in a semi-pro league like the United Premier Soccer League.
But that's a good way for him to get his feet wet a little bit here in this first season. In this first game. It's a little cold. Get a nice easy one to get your hands on the ball first.
It's definitely a lot colder here than in Mexico. Centering it in front.
I'm sure he's asking why he's playing soccer in Illinois right now and not in Mexico.
If it's indoor soccer, you're okay, but last week it was nice, right? It was in the 60s. This week we had a flood warning yesterday. Now it's back to 35 degrees.
Got that alert on my phone, 90-mile-an-hour winds. So, yeah, we don't know what's going on with the weather here in Illinois right now.
That lovely Illinois Midwest weather in April.
I've got 3 jackets on right now, and I plan on golfing tomorrow. How does that work? It's supposed to be 50.
Back when, what was her name? Oh, Julie Carroll, when she was the host for 670 The Score. She said that her grandmother told her to bring a sweater to Wrigley in the middle of July.
The middle of July?
That's how cold it gets in Chicago, even in July, right off the lake. And it's not that much warmer in the suburbs. Shy Nation on the attack. Good pass to Dizarevich. Turnaround shot. Better opportunity, though, partner. That was right in front of the net a couple minutes ago. It was at the 12-yard line, but he was to the right of the post, so it was a lot harder. This time around, Dizarevich is right in front of the goalkeeper at the 12-yard line, so about 22 yards away from the goal.
Yeah, I agree, Kyle. You took the words kind of right out of my mouth that they actually executed a couple of passes there, got one kind of closer to the net in order to get a better shot off. You get a couple more of those working, you start to find some holes. Now you can start putting them on net.
Dizarevich, once again, the leading goal scorer for Shy Nation last season. Little give-and-go play.
See, in Springfield, they get the ball down at the other end, but they never have anyone there to kind of start finishing it up and get something going on offense.
Yeah, it seems like they're bringing all their midfielders back on defense because their regular defenders are getting beat on the play. Got to have as many people back. You want the win, it's 3 points, but you can't give up the 1 point either. If anything, you got to get the tie, and you're seeing a lot of conservative play from Springfield right now. Little tap pass that time over to his teammate in McLeod, and then played to the other end by Shy Nation. Going after it was Capitanos, but it was out of his reach, and it'll be an overhead pass coming up for Springfield. Oh, it was last touch by Springfield. I thought it was last touch by Shy Nation. Yep, can't have 2 soccer balls on the pitch. I have a funny story about that. In a minute, I'll tell you. It's a baseball story, but it's very similar to what just happened on the pitch right there. Meanwhile, McLeod, little lead pass, then back to McLeod. And give and go play that time to Lopez. Back to the boundary. And back and forth we go. Trying to keep Springfield off guard, like you said, Anthony. Trying to get them to overcommit and create some mismatches in front of the net.
Well, and I think what is helping Shy Nation kind of get them off guard is the off balance that they're playing with, that they're patient with the ball. They're not jumpy. They're holding onto the ball. They're reading the defense and making the correct pass.
That one went over the net, shot by Dizarevich. But like I was saying, when we had 2 soccer balls on the pitch and the referee saw it at the last second, a really funny story is during a Little League baseball game, pass ball or a wild pitch, I forget which one it was. Catcher goes after it, and then one of the dads went to go get a foul ball, and he threw the ball that was out of play back in play, and so the catcher has 2 balls to go after now. He rolled it underneath the fence. And if you're the umpire, what do you call?
Yeah, you're taking hidden ball trick to a whole nother level there. And, I guess if they're right next to each other, it makes it a little bit easier. But, let's say the ball's down the line and all of a sudden one pops out under the fence. Whoa, hang on a second.
So the catcher's going after the ball. He's got to turn around and throw it back to the pitcher for the out. And the catcher has 2 baseballs now, and the home plate umpire had a decision to make. Look at that lead pass to Dizarevich.
It's almost like, what do you do in that situation?
Trying to volley it in. Well, you had no choice, partner. You got to get a piece of it. Otherwise, it's a goal kick regardless. But you're in a bad spot. The only thing you could really do there is maybe use your chest to, get some inertia on the ball, place it to your leg, and then shoot it. Would have taken too much time, though. Goalie would have seen that and then, picked it right up. But only other thing you could do is try to volley it into the net, but it was at a tough angle to get your foot on it. And here comes Springfield with the ball now after the goal kick from Jones. Aaron Diopere with it initially. Back to his teammate, out to Namako. And Namako's pass. Almost a handball. And here comes an attack from Springfield. 3 men around the ball. Stolen away again by Shy Nation. Look at that pass, trying to split the D and does. Dizarevich, slow-moving ball. Waiting for the call. They're going to say last touch by Springfield.
Yeah, it was a great lead pass to get back into the offensive zone, but what's really helping Shy Nation is their aggression on defense. You can tell everybody is pressing up, and they're letting Springfield kick the ball around inside the 10-yard line, making it real tough for Springfield to get anything downfield.
Sudden overhead pass, 1 hops, and then back to him off the pass. That time delivered by Lilwitz. And now Shy Nation with it. Playing it right now is Naranjo. Now to the boundary. Set up in front, headed out. Still in front, up in the head of Carnduff's head, and now played by Shy Nation. Sutton had a piece of it. Slide tackle play, steals it. Here comes Shy Nation. From a long way away, way too high. Shot attempt by Lopez. Well, if he was a field goal kicker, that would have been good, but for soccer, it's way too high.
And there it was again, the aggression on defense. It's set up a good spot on the field. He just, I wonder if the net being back sometimes throws these guys off and they don't realize.
It is weird. You bring up a good point, Anthony. It is weird because you see all these hash marks and yard lines, whereas on a normal Park District field, it's just grass. And so you see you're at the 40 and you think you're 40 yards away from the goal, but really you're 50 yards. Whereas in football, if you're at the 40, you're 40 yards away from a score. So for players that play both sports, and there is a guy on Shy Nation that does play both sports, it is a little bit confusing to these players. And then some of these players are former kickers and punters at the high school and college level. But just because you're at the 10 does not mean you're 10 yards away from the goal. Meanwhile, Springfield with it. Leading the attack is Chung. And played closely by Shy Nation. Getting a piece of it was Dizdarevich. Now deep in their own territory. For one of the few times all night, Mendez got a piece of it.
Swarming to the ball there defensively from Shy Nation. They had 3 or 4 guys right around the ball. Was not going to let them get off a shot.
It'll be a goal kick for Devon Egghigh. By the way, your favorite MLS high school or college memory, text 330-957-7653. Stolen away by Springfield. As finally they've made some adjustments to have the attack. Chung with it now. What adjustments have you seen on offense right now for Springfield? They're getting it out quick, and now they're on the attack.
Yeah, getting it out quick, I think, is the best way to put it, is they're moving the ball a lot more. They're not holding it. They're not letting the defense of Chicago Nation kind of press up on them and remove them from the ball.
Best attack all night for Springfield, but we have an injury possible. As a little bit shaken up is Albert Nimako. They don't have a lot of subs, partner. They only got 5 subs. So it's really you're just going to have to play through it unless you're really injured. Then you're going to have to be done for the night. But only 5 subs. It's number 3, Luke Owsley. Number 9, Charles Agbogu. Number 15, Christian Goje. Number 16, Zane Fowler. And number 22, Murphy, Damatian. That's all the subs they have. So for Springfield, they're going to have to figure out how to get it done tonight with limited subs.
And there's two sides to that coin with the bench players. Could be, some of them could be in that situation. It's like, man, I'm sitting over here. I'm cold. Get me out of the game. I want to get moving. And then you've got maybe a couple other players that it's like, man, it's cold. I don't want to go do nothing. I'm sitting here, my big jacket. I want to stay right here.
Well, the old saying is the starters are the starters for a reason and the backup is the backup. There are, anomalies to the rule. The Kurt Warner conundrum, of course, but usually there's a reason they're the backup. But the soccer, it's an interesting sport because there's so much cardio and it's cardio intensive that once it gets past the 75th minute, a guy that might not have great cardio, but he might be a more creative scorer, you put him in at the 75th minute because he has fresh legs. He's at 100% versus your more cardio better player and maybe better passer, all the intangibles, etc. But he's just exhausted because of how much running there is in the game of soccer. I still remember the 2014 World Cup when Landon Donovan, I think he was in his late 30s, and he missed the roster because he just wasn't a starter anymore. Meanwhile, here comes Shy Nation on the attack. Lead pass in front. Chance for Shy Nation just outside the feet of the nearest attacker, Dizdarevich, and a break for Springfield. And partner, I just don't know if Josh Jones and Springfield can hang on for 90 minutes. It just seems like an inevitability that Shy Nation's going to score tonight.
Yeah, that was the best opportunity in this first half for Shy Nation with a pass right out into the middle of the front of the net. Goalie made a good save on that one, but like you said, I'm not sure how much longer he's going to be able to take care of this Shy Nation offense.
You get 1 point for the tie, 3 points for the win. Zippo for the loss. I'm not going to say it'd be heartbreaking for Shy Nation to not win this one, but partner, they've definitely outplayed Springfield for the majority of this match thus far.
It certainly feels that way, that this would be one that they'd kind of let get away if they end up falling behind on the scoreboard.
And falling behind, in my opinion, would be the tie because it's a 2-point swing if you only get the tie versus the win. Even in hockey, you'll see some teams that will put their best offensive players out there, even in a tie score, because you only get 1 point for the overtime loss versus 2 points for the win. Every little point matters, and in soccer, it's an even bigger swing. 3 for the win, only 1 for the tie.
Yeah, and I don't love the argument, and you hear it across all different kind of sports. Oh, well, it's early in the season. You can afford one here and there. Sure, in a baseball season where you play 162 games, you can afford to let a couple get away, especially early. But, not when you only play for a month or two at a time. You've got to solidify and get as many points as you can every single game.
Well, you tell that to the Seattle Mariners. From 2001 to 2022, they only went to the playoffs once. And in the 2014 season, guess how many games they finished behind the A's for the last wild card spot?
How many?
1 win.
Yep. See, you might have to go back to one of those April games, March games that it's like, hey, we let that one get away and it cost us.
The old adage, you can't lose the pennant. You can't win the pennant in April, but you can certainly lose it. Same thing for soccer. You can't win the division in April, but you can certainly lose it.
And here, starting off on the right foot early in the season, it gets you prepared and it gets you going earlier to have withstand success throughout the regular season and then into the playoffs.
And there's always hot starts that don't finish well. And of course, my dad was a huge White Sox fan, so he'd always tell me about the 83 White Sox. Here's a nice Leafs pass to Strain. Actually, it's McLeod. And read well by Springfield. But he told me how the Sox were at one point 10 games under 500, then they ended up winning 99 games that year in the division. So, yeah, there is a such thing as slow starts. But at the same time, why dig yourself a hole when you can avoid doing so?
Yeah, exactly. If I had the choice every season, do I want to start slow or fast? I think everyone kind of knows the answer to that one. Little bit of a misplay there from Shy Nation allows Springfield to keep it in the offensive zone.
Yeah, you got to be careful if you're Shy Nation. You obviously want the 3 points, but it would be almost heartbreaking to lose 1-0 because of one bad play in your own territory and laziness even from your midfielders. But most of the time, besides that, a little bit of misplay by Shy Nation, they've been good getting back on D.
Yeah, when you're winning the back and forth initially, you don't want to kind of find yourself with your pants down almost and get caught in a bad position, and now all of a sudden you find yourself down on the scoreboard and clawing to get back.
Remember, soccer, one goal can matter. It is tough getting that big white and black soccer ball into the back of the net. That's why a lot of games are 1-0. And some games are decided by aggregate. It's a tough way to... That's why it's called a beautiful game, because, in hockey you get those quote-unquote garbage goals, rebound in front of the net. You don't really get those in soccer. When you score, it usually is a beautiful goal, like a scissors kick, bicycle kick.
Or, a 3-pass to a great shot. Like right here, a lead pass just saved by the goalie, though.
Yeah. Jones has to be careful. Play like that. Jisterevich, he has every right to that ball, by the way. So if he swings and misses on the ball and actually accidentally gets the goalie in the nose, it's not a foul. So I understand why Jones did it, but got to be careful this early on in the year. You don't want to have a broken nose or a broken jaw even, because you actually got kicked in the head or face by the attacking player.
And I would say a broken nose, I'd feel a little more comfortable as maybe a winger or someone out there as opposed to a goalie. When that ball could come right at your face, pretty much every time. They're kicking it right at you.
I've been covering soccer a long time, but I've never seen a goalie wear the Richard Hamilton mask for a broken nose. But some of these players in this league, man, that ball is coming in terms of velocity. I read a story about back when Theisen was the quarterback for Washington, and I think they let journalists, run routes, and the receiver was like to the journalist, "Do you want to wear gloves?" "Oh no, I got this. I'm fine." He runs a post. Theismann gets him right on target, and he broke his fingers. That's how big these, when it comes to throwing passes. And in soccer, if you're not wearing gloves as a goalie, you could break your fingers trying to catch that ball.
Yeah, you truly don't grasp the idea of how fast these balls, no matter the sport, are really coming until you've been there and you've experienced it and have gotten used to it. You have to get used to these kinds of things.
Out to the sideline, played right now by Albert Namaco. Every game matters. You don't think it does. But you know what? If you're going to freeze in April, you might as well win the game, right?
Yeah, I mean, you came out here, especially for Springfield, they drove up so far. You might as well get a win.
Shot! Saved by Devin Eghai in front. No one home to get the rebound. And that's going to be a foul against Springfield. Maybe a little lackadaisical on defense there by Shy Nation, and Springfield almost got a little cheap goal to make a 1-0.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the goalie bailed out the Shy Nation defense with a diving stop on that one, because you kind of just had 3 defenders just kind of standing around, didn't expect the shot, and then boom, all of a sudden, here it is.
Good play by Devin Eghai. He was on that team that went to the Elite Eight back in 2022. Well, if you're Shy Nation, you've definitely outplayed Springfield for much of this match thus far, but got to find a way to at least get 1 point. It would be heartbreaking to have 0 points on a night when you've clearly outplayed the opposition.
I will also say that I think tensions might kind of be rising a little bit for the Chicago Nation team, as they've dominated pretty much up until this point, but you're starting to see points here and there that Springfield's kind of starting to figure something out.
Lead pass in front. Springfield maintaining the attack. Shot blocked by Shy Nation. And Shy Nation will let that ball go past the end line. Good job by Sasa Labovic, telling his teammates to not go after it. It'll be Devin Eghai on the kick. Your favorite high school, college, or MLS, Champions League and Premier League allowed as well. Text 330-957-7653. Out to the 15-yard line. Played that time by Jones.
Goalie there for Springfield said, get this ball out of my zone. Sent that one all the way down, and now it sets Springfield up to try to make a play on offense.
Powney had it briefly, now to the boundary. One of the few times we've seen Springfield near the corner. They've not had a corner kick this game. Powney will have the overhead pass. We'll see how he does on this throw-in. A lot of topspin on it. Got some velocity on it as well. Out in front, Springfield after it. And shot goes wide. See if we get a corner here. I don't think it was touched by Springfield. Should have been last touched by Shy Nation. And it's looking like it indeed will be a corner for Springfield. Still no score if you're just joining us. Devin Eghai with the save of the game right in front. And that has been the difference maker. It could easily be 1-0 Springfield, even though Shy Nation has had more shots. But the problem, Anthony, is they haven't gotten a lot of shots on goal. A lot of shots that have gone way too high above the crossbar.
Yeah, they've found themselves in some decent positions, but not getting in tight enough with the net and just kind of missing, whether it be wide or high, like that we saw the one go through the goalposts.
Header that was read well by Devin Eghai. On the punt, got a lot on it, and almost got it to midfield. Meanwhile, played by Shy Nation. Springfield after it. Stolen away by Springfield, in fact. And a couple of kicks over to the boundary. One of those kicks was from Namako. As Shy Nation will ball played in their own territory. Devin Eghai sends it up front. Sutton over to the sideline, played by Lopez. As a lead pass over to the boundary, to the other sideline. Springfield has definitely made the adjustments. It's been tougher for Shy Nation to get past midfield. Now past the midway line, stolen away by Springfield at the 40, tap pass, and readjusting is Naj Zibaway. Gets it over to Powney, and Powney, good pass, getting it all the way back to Diopere. Sent from Namako to the other sideline, and back to Namako. Shy Nation, a little bit conservative now as they're bringing more men back on defense. Still no score. Difference maker was that save by Devin Eghai. Now here comes Springfield on the attack. About 20 yards away from the goal, stolen away by Shy Nation.
You're still seeing that aggression on the defensive side of the ball from Shy Nation, but much more on the other side of midfield now. They're not trying to keep Springfield in their own zone.
Yeah, they know that they were that close, a quarter of an inch the other way, and it would have been 1-0 Springfield. And in a game like this, it's semi-pro. It's not high school soccer anymore. So 1-0 could be the difference between a win, a loss, and a draw. And even though Shy Nation has outplayed them most of the night, all Springfield needs to do is score once and have Josh Jones do the rest. Out in front of the net, stolen away by Dizdarevich. Now played at the sideline by Lopez. 3 men around the ball, but Lopez has excellent speed. Then a lead pass out in front. Was he onside? He was not. Hard. When you're more than 3 steps in front of the last defender, most of the time you're offside.
Yeah, you saw all that green to work with and nobody but the goalie to beat and got a little ahead of himself.
Yeah. In soccer, usually, to be onside, it's usually you're a half or maybe a step ahead of the defender. When you're 3 steps or more, usually you're offside. And that was the case on that play. Hey, it's worth the shot, though. Maybe the ref was texting his girlfriend and he wasn't paying attention, but no, that time he was definitely paying attention. Sutton on it and misread the header. It actually goes the other way. He tried to head it forward, but it went off the side of his head and out of bounds. Last touch by Shy Nation. Here comes Springfield FC. If you missed tonight's match, make sure to make it out to COD on April 22nd. I'm hoping by then it'll be more than 38 degrees Fahrenheit as they play Goshen FC. And gosh, I hope it's a lot warmer that night than it is tonight. Last touch by Springfield. Sutton again to the turf. He does suffer from hamstrings from time to time, but so if you see him go to the turf, no injury report for him coming into tonight's match. They need him. He's one of the better defenders in the Central Division.
Well, and tonight's going to be one of those games that he really needs to pay a little extra attention to making sure that he's staying warm, staying stretched out.
Devin Eghai was born in Jalapa, Veracruz. He plays for Mercy Lagos of Ascenso, Mexico.
Another player that I'm sure is wishing they were in Mexico right now.
You know, man, sometimes it's not always the grass greener on the other side.
I suppose, but the weather certainly is.
Mark Twain once said, the coldest winter I ever spent was in San Francisco. Not saying that San Francisco is like Mexico, but there are some times you think you're on vacation and it gets cold down there. I went to Memphis once. It was like March. It was in the 40s down there. It wasn't much warmer than Chicago. Of course, that was an anomaly, but you never know. But yeah, good chance if you have your vacation plans and you want to go to Mexico City, chances are it's going to be a lot warmer in Mexico City than Chicago.
I wouldn't have a winter hat on. Maybe a light jacket. I'll give you that, but not a winter hat.
I always love watching the NFL, and it's like September, and like Justin Fields and these other quarterbacks are wearing the winter caps. I'm like, come on, man. It's got to be at least past Halloween before you can wear the winter cap.
Well, but they're still out there in T-shirts.
Yeah, that is a little strange.
I guess, they call the head the chimney of the body, so you keep all the heat inside, I suppose, but I will be wearing all of my jackets.
I think Santa would beg to differ, regardless of how warm it is. Remember that Christmas we had in Chicago? I think it was like 10 years ago, where it was like 55 degrees?
Yes.
I think Santa was, he would, he'd still play it cautiously. He'd still be wearing the red suit.
Well, big man lost some weight that Christmas, sweating through it all. He was able to eat a couple extra cookies that year.
I always wonder what it would be like to live in Miami on Christmas Day, and you could have a pool party almost. How interesting that would be. You have a pool party on Thanksgiving.
I will say, growing up in Illinois where it does snow pretty much, every Christmas is like the one day a year that I'm like, all right, I'll take snow. Otherwise, give me the sun.
Lopez with it now. Shy Nation on the attack. We did the Outdoor Classic January of 2022, and it snowed the entire game on New Year's Eve. No, sorry, it was New Year's Day. That was pretty cool. Broadcasting hockey in the snow. Fakes the pass downfield. Instead, they'll play in their own territory. Back to Namako. Still have plenty of soccer left in the first half as we enter the 41st minute. 39:46 on the clock. We are the unofficial clock, although we started it right when their whistle blew. So we're right on track with time. And it should have been
lazy
a foul.
Pass there by Springfield. Now it sets Shy Nation up to go back on offense.
It was a lazy pass, partner, but I think the ref missed a foul. You can't push your way to the ball there. Should have still been Springfield ball. But you're right, man. You got to get more velocity on that ball. You can't just lazily pass it in the middle of the pitch like that. Out in front, a lot of Springfield defenders around it. That could be considered a lazy pass from Shy Nation at the 40-yard line. Remember, the goal is 10 yards back of the pylon. So when I say they're at the 20, it really means they're 30 yards away from scoring. And like I said, partner, it's a little confusing for people that played both sports in high school and maybe college, Because when you're at the 20 and you're a running back, you know you're 20 yards away from the end zone. But in the soccer game, you're really 30 yards away from scoring.
Well, and you mentioned that several of these players are kickers as well. And, you know, this is a little different kicking a soccer ball in this type of back and forth than a field goal.
Right. One of the guys playing for Chi Nation is a local Glen Ellen boy. He went to Glenbard South. He played both football and soccer. And we'll give you that information in a minute.
Miscommunication on the pass there from Chi Nation.
Derek Pregel replaced Walter Estevez. He was both the place kicker and the punter at Glenbard South. If you're wondering, there are two Glen Ellens high schools, Glenbard South and Glenbard West. Do you know where Glenbard North and Glenbard East are located, partner?
No, I do not.
Glenbard North is in Carroll Stream, where I live, and then Glenbard East is in Lombard. But yeah, the west-south rivalry, it's a big one here in the western suburbs.
Yes, my my stepmom went to one of them, and then their friend or whatever we grew up with, he went to the other one. So there was definitely some back and forth between those two.
There's the Revich with it. I give props to Springfield, partner, because it looked like they had a chance of being blown out tonight, but they made some adjustments after the 10th minute.
Yes, they have. I think they've picked up the aggression both offensively and defensively, and they're starting to try to move down the field a little bit. You're not seeing so many passes just in their own 10-yard line.
Out at the 20-yard line, bad pass, easily read by Chi Nation. Feeds it over to Lopez on his right foot. Little tap pass, good pass that time to McLeod. McLeod with it, McLeod in space, McLeod, oh, just wide.
And another lead pass out to McLeod, and that's the second or third time that we saw him be able to separate from the defense and get that pass, just once again unable to put it in the net.
Apologize, that's Capitano 7, McLeod is 5.
Yeah, Capitano out there. He's got some good speed. Goalie came out to test him again.
Dizdarevich will have the corner. And partner, if you're Springfield, you just got to find a way to clear this ball as quickly as possible and just conserve the tie. Do not be too aggressive and allow Chi Nation to score right before halftime.
Yeah, you've played a better end to this first half, but you want to make sure you close it out right for Springfield and not find yourselves in a bigger hole than you're kind of in right now going into the second half.
Over to the other sideline to Lebovich. That's a foul, and it's a early call by the official. If that was football, American football, that'd be legal, but in football, that is a foul. It'll be played right now by Dizdarevich. Capitanos almost had one, just wide. So each team has had a fantastic scoring chance. We'll say that Chi Nations was better than Springfield's. Devin Egheim made a great play. Jones made a great play. Up in the air, that ball is still free. Oh, nice volley kick at the last second.
Someone was really surprised by that one as someone let out a huge what.
This is semi-pro, partner. There are some athletes on this pitch, and that is an athletic kick if I've ever seen one. Out in front, ball loose, avoids the handball. Springfield just clinging to the 0-0 tie. No-look kick. Who touched it last? And Springfield not going after it. Usually when that happens, if the defensive team doesn't go after it right away, it means they know they kicked it last. And indeed is Chi Nation's ball. Dizdarevich, another corner. Are you surprised that he's leading these corner kicks, partner? He's their leading goal scorer from last year. You'd think you'd rather have him out in front and have one of your other forwards do the kicking.
Yeah, I would think so too, but if he's your best goal scorer, maybe he knows he's the best at putting the ball where it's got to go. And right now, maybe you're trying for positioning as opposed to just trying to hope one goes in.
Get that top spin action on the ball off the corner, out in front. Headed straight up. Volley kick. Ooh, that's going to hurt in the morning. That's why you wear shin guards, but unfortunately he turned away from the ball and hit the back of his foot. Springfield definitely taking one for the team. And that will do it for the first half. So, after all that, Anthony, Springfield somehow is still tied with Chi Nation. Very impressive by Springfield.
Yeah, they definitely a slow start, spent a lot of time in their own defensive end, but started to figure it out, started to turn up the aggression on the offensive side. Chi Nation started to have to kind of play back a little bit more. They spent a little more time on the offensive end for Springfield. They got a really nice shot on goal that was saved. Now you try to look to take that momentum into the second half. And with Chi Nation, I think you continue to go back to the aggression that you've seen on defense. Try to force them to play in their own defensive end, work on getting a steal, and start getting a couple more shots on target.
We'll take a break. Second half coming up next here on SBS, a broadcasting network for everyone.
Hi guys, this is Alan from C1 Transportation. I have good news. We are hiring over-the-road drivers with 2 or more years of experience. Our drivers make $100,000 to $120,000 a year driving 3 to 4 weeks at a time. Don't miss your chance to start driving with C1 Transportation and call our recruiter right now.
Needed flatbed drivers for Step Deck and Conestoga with opportunity, direct deposit weekly, sign-on bonuses, paid orientation and paid clean inspections, $2,000, $2,300 based on driver's performance. New equipment 2022 and 23 trucks and trailers. Fast maintenance at our shop located at the yard. 24/7 assistance, weekly pay on direct deposit. Flexible home time, dedicated all year-round projects. Sign-on bonus, $125 per month for 1 year plus 1 week paid vacation. Travel and lodging provided during orientation and breakdown. Earning on average from $85,000 to $100,000 per year gross. Paid orientation $75 per day for qualified drivers. Looking for a better job? Join us, C1 Transportation.
Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. SBS offers live telecasts on Channel 59.3, YouTube, or Twitch. We include pre- and post-game interviews with the players.
I started in the locker room. All the boys were getting going before the game and stuff, and we kind of found a little click at the beginning of the game, so I think that's what got us going.
We also include digital live statistics, play-by-play commentary, team highlight reels, and even more than that. Go online to sportsbroadcastsolutions.com or search Sports Broadcast Solutions on YouTube. SBS, a broadcasting network for everyone.
Hello guys, how you doing? My name is Robert Mitten. As you can see, I'm part of the C1 team. C1 is gonna be number one. I had a Class B CDL license for about 4 years. I just upgraded to a Class A. When it comes to experience, I have about 6 months experience. I found this company by a good friend of mine named Andy. He also helped my cousin get in named Ricardo. And we have a friend of mine named Twan. He's here with us. It's a great company to work for. It's a growing company. Also, my supervisor, Danny, he's the best. He's a real good guy, man. Hey, Danny. With all the other drivers, everybody here, we all get along. We work together as a team. That's pretty much it, guys. Just, if you're interested, apply. It's a great company to work for. The staff is perfect. C1 is gonna be number one.
Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. For those of you who would like to broadcast or live stream your event, or maybe make a highlight tape, but would like a sponsor to fund the event, SBS has a myriad of ways to advertise your sponsor during our broadcasts. We have commercials. We have on-air reads by the announcers.
Albatross Physical Therapy and Wellness specializes in pain-free.
We have graphics, and we have watermarks. Finally, Sports Broadcast Solutions can create a commercial for you or your sponsor. Whatever your sports broadcast needs, we are at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Check us out and become part of the digital sporting world.
Missing your child's sporting event just plain stinks. But you don't have to worry about that anymore, thanks to Sports Broadcast Solutions. SBS is a live broadcasting network, as well as covering your on-demand needs, recruiting videos, highlight reels, and much, much more. We can broadcast live to any website, and we also post as much on-demand content as you need. For more information about SBS, check out our website at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Sports Broadcast Solutions, a broadcasting network for everyone.
This is Sports Broadcast Solutions, a broadcasting network for everyone. Check us out at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com and become part of the digital sporting world.
Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. SBS offers live telecasts on Channel 59.3, YouTube, or Twitch. We include pre- and post-game interviews with the players.
I started in the locker room. All the boys were getting going before the game and stuff, and we kind of found a little click at the beginning of the game, so I think that's what got us going.
We also include digital live statistics, play-by-play commentary, team highlight reels, and even more than that. Go online to sportsbroadcastsolutions.com or search Sports Broadcast Solutions on YouTube. SBS, a broadcasting network for everyone.
Needed flatbed drivers for Step Deck and Conestoga with opportunity. Direct deposit weekly. Sign-on bonuses. Paid orientation and paid clean inspections. $2,000, $2,300 based on driver's performance. New equipment 2022 and 23 trucks and trailers. Fast maintenance at our shop located at the yard. 24/7 assistance. Weekly pay on direct deposit. Flexible home time. Dedicated all year round projects. Sign-on bonus. $125 per month for 1 year plus 1 week paid vacation. Travel and lodging provided during orientation and breakdown. Earning on average from $85,000 to $100,000 per year gross. Paid orientation $75 per day for qualified drivers. Looking for a better job? Join us C1 Transportation.
Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. For those of you that just want raw footage of your sporting event, but no play-by-play or color commentary, you just need us to live stream video from the event over the internet. We will live stream your event on YouTube on our Sports Broadcast Solutions channel. In addition, we also have a dedicated channel on YouTube for live streaming at SBS Livestream. And if you need multiple channels, we can utilize Facebook Livestream and Instagram Live on our channel as well. Options include commercials from your sponsors, professional scoreboard graphics are still available, and of course, yes, pre- and post-game interviews are available as an option if you want.
We've been working really hard this whole summer and stuff.
Whatever your sports broadcast needs, we are at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Check us out and become part of the digital sporting world.
Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. SBS offers live telecasts on channel 59.3, YouTube, or Twitch. We include pre- and post-game interviews with the players.
You know, I started in the locker room. All the boys were getting going before the game and stuff, and we kind of found a little click at the beginning of the game, so I think that's what got us going.
We also include digital live statistics, play-by-play commentary, team highlight reels, and even more than that. Go online to sportsbroadcastsolutions.com or search Sports Broadcast Solutions on YouTube. SBS, a broadcasting network for everyone.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to College of DuPage Stadium, home of the Chaparrals. I'm Kyle Smith alongside Anthony Collada. Anthony, it's 0-0. If we have to say who's winning the match, probably Chi Nation, but we've seen a little bit of some lackadaisical plays on defense from Chi Nation those last 20 minutes of the first half.
Yeah, the beginning of the first half, I would definitely say it was in favor of Chi Nation, but I think Springfield, they found a hole in the Chi Nation defense, were able to get the ball down the field a little bit, and they put a good shot on the net. I think they found something maybe that they can use in the second half and try to get off to a better start and not spend so much time in their defensive end.
So Capitano's a 7, McLeod 5. As Capitanos will play it at midfield. Lopez to his right. We have not said a lot about Lucas Solka. He was up for the Golden Boot back in 2021, but he has been shut down by this stifling Springfield defense the past 20 minutes of the first half. So we're at the 45th minute now. We will most likely play about 5 minutes of extra time. We will have ties. There is no golden goal, no goal kicks. We don't have that till the playoffs. 4 teams make the playoffs. Single elimination. And then if you make the championship game, it's the round of 32. And then after that, it is the Sweet 16 and onwards. Good lead pass. Springfield desperately trying to get back on defense. Both teams avoiding the foul. And how about that, partner? It looked like Chi Nation was at least going to get a centering pass in front, but Springfield plays it at their own end line and somehow gets the ball upwards towards the midway line.
Yeah, good defense there from Springfield. Chi Nation, they went again with that lead pass that has sprung them open a couple of times, but another halftime adjustment possibly for the Springfield.
Connor Cardiff, quite possibly the tallest man of the match tonight, had it briefly. Sutton, who has gone to the turf a couple of times, holding his right leg. Springfield on the attack, both goalies switching ends. Well, if Chi Nation doesn't win tonight, partner, they definitely have the better-looking jerseys. Springfield's got to improve on their graphic design. Chi Nation's taken to the cleaners in terms of look.
Yeah, they've got a little bit of an accent or something on those numbers, but otherwise in the all-white uniforms with nothing else.
Chi Nation's got the red, white, and blue. If this was July 4th, they'd really be in style.
A little bit of a slower start here on offense from Springfield. It's kind of what we saw to start the first half, and maybe this is just kind of how they go into it. They like to feel them out, but when you lost the beginning of the first half, you've got to be more aggressive and try to get one in the net.
25 total players of Chi Nation to just 16 for Springfield. That will come into play because I'm sure Chi Nation will go to the bench, get some fresh legs out there, knowing they have the advantage in terms of subs. We'll see when Chi Nation does go to the bench. And that was an awkward fall. Thank goodness that McLeod did not tear anything.
Yeah, he just kind of blew a tire. It looked like Chi Nation had something working with a couple guys down the sides of the pitch, but bodies all over the place.
Yeah, Chi Nation not happy about it. We're going to look at that on replay, but I thought that it was originally a foul on Springfield, led with the chest. Nothing was issued. The second one was definitely a foul, but it sure looked like Springfield had the initial foul. It should have been called initially on Springfield, and it would have been Chi Nation's free kick. This is a huge free kick for Springfield, their second best opportunity overall on the night. And it's a little cold for some of the people here, partner. They've got their car lights on, and they're watching from the car on the other side of the pitch. I can't blame them too much, but it's actually not that cold. The wind has died down a lot tonight. So the ball's going to be placed at the 14-yard line. That makes it 24 yards away from the end line. And this is where, bravery and being courageous comes into play. Do you take one for the team if they shoot it right at you, or do you duck out of the way? And then for Springfield, in terms of who takes this kick, can you get it over the head and into the back of the net?
As for the defense of Chi Nation, obviously your answer is you want it to be that you're going to sit there, you're going to take one, and you're going to block a shot. But when you actually get into that moment and you see one either below your waist or above your neck, you might make a business decision.
If you're going to get out of the way, you got to get out of the way quick to give Devin Eghai a clean angle to the ball. Nate Chung will take the kick. It's a big kick for Chung. Shot, big time save by Devin Eghai. Not only that, partner, but he was able to caress the ball, corral it, and make sure it didn't go past the end line for the corner kick.
Yep, saw that one all the way. Kicker tried to put a little bit of tail on that one to sneak it into the top corner, but no dice on that one.
So it's decision time for Chi Nation. When do they decide to go to the bench? Already gone to the bench this half as Springfield had attacked briefly. Chung was after it. But as I said, they've gone to the bench. Budrek's into the game still, as is co-captain Reed Strain. They have three co-captains, Lebovich, Sutton, and Strain. We'll give you a little bit more information on Reed Strain in a minute here. He's a Puerto Rican football player and represented the Puerto Rican U20 national team. He last played as a forward for Friska Vilhor Division II Sweden. Prior to that, he played for Division II for Örebro Saryaska. Rita's been Nation's captain for the 4th straight season and led Nation to 3 straight top 16 appearances in the country. We talked about Nick Capitanos, who almost scored to make it 0-0. Capitanos was a Cinderella man in Nation's first season, where he scored the game-winning goal in the final minutes, sending Nation to the Final Four. He's the all-time leading point scorer in Benedictine University history and looks to continue his dominance for Nation. Sasa Lebovic, it's the second season with Nation, as here comes Shy Nation on their attack.
You can tell Shy Nation trying to set up the offense. Springfield trying to push up on that ball and not let them get set up. You want to get something to the middle of the net.
Yeah, you want that 90-degree angle, right? For all those that love geometry, you want between that 45-degree angle. Anything less than that is usually an easy save for the goalie. When you're past the 45-degree angle, you're looking to get that shot low and possibly get a rebound try off the goalie's leg. But when you're between 45 to 90 degrees in front of the net, chances of you scoring is a lot higher. As that one's kicked out by Springfield. Well, partner, 3-hour drive from Springfield to Chicago. It's not too windy, so not that cold. No wind chill tonight, but it would stink for Springfield, the adjustments they made to lose this one 1-0. They're really looking for that 0-0 tie. Out to the sideline, played by Budrek. And last touch by Springfield. Corner kick coming up. Isaac Sutton is a 2-year captain at Lewis University, Division II soccer. He was 3-time All-Conference, 1-time Defensive Player Award. He played professionally in Sweden and some in the USL. He's been a Nation captain for the last 2 seasons and looks to help lead Nation back to the national finals, where he was one of the top players in the tournament. Haven't said his name a lot tonight, but we'll probably see him come off the bench. Will Butler is in his 2nd season with Nation. He brings veteran leadership to the center mid-core. He was called up to train with the U.S. men's futsal national team and played Division I at Eastern University. He's renowned as one of the top players in Chicago. Near midfield. And kicked out by Sutton. Chung was on it as Springfield. The pressure has being maintained by Springfield as they're looking to speed things up here. Now played by Rodriguez. Out near the boundary. Sutton says it was last touched by Springfield. Let's see what the serve says. As Sutton got tangled up that time with Carnduff.
Looks like they're throwing another ball in play.
We don't have official heights between Shy Nation and Springfield, but partner, it kind of looks like the forwards for Springfield are taller than the defenders for Shy Nation.
Yeah, Springfield does seem to have some good size on the offensive side for them.
That's going to come into play on those corners, but Shy Nation has avoided the corners pretty much at all costs tonight. Springfield's had opportunities, but they've been limited. The only ones that really come to mind is that save by Devin Eghigh right in front of the net, and then that free kick from 24 yards out that Devin Eghigh was able to easily save. And that's been it for Springfield. Shy Nation's had more opportunities, Anthony, but they can't get them on net.
No, I mean, we've only seen 3, maybe 4 total shots on goal. But definitely some better flow from Shy Nation here as they get down the side of the pitch, out to the middle. Trying to get something going.
Was feeding at that time to Lopez. Budrek has it. Now out in front, left-footed kick, just a little bit high. Another good opportunity for Shy Nation, but partly you got to get that on net.
You could tell he wanted that one. Put a good kick on the ball. Goalie, I think he would have had it saved.
Yeah.
I think he was right on it, and it just over his hands, over the net.
And the reason why I'm not a fan of him going high with it, Anthony, is I'd like for him to go low, see if it goes off Jones's knee, off his hands, see if you get that rebound try in front. Anytime you go high, it's either going to go off the crossbar, it's going to go into the back of the net, or it's going to be a goal kick for Jones.
Here, it's cold out. You know, goalie might not want to take a hit, might not recover from a hit as quick from a ball coming in at good speed. Maybe you can get a rebound, get a nasty goal, And that's how you pull this one off if you're Shy Nation.
Yeah, you're looking for it to go off the fingertips. It's a lot harder to catch the ball when it's cold out. No wind chill, but even wearing gloves, I've got gloves on and my hands aren't 100% warm. So trying to get something on net. Obviously, you want to get it below the shoulders if you can. Going top shelf, only a couple ways you can score. When you go low, you can either get that low goal or get a rebound try. And the problem with when you play on a football field like this, partner, and they haven't removed the field goal post, the refs have to be careful that the ball didn't hit the crossbar. Did it hit the field goal post or vice versa? Because obviously, if it hits the field goal post, it's out of play. If it hits the crossbar, comes back into play, it's legal. So you're not trying to hear if it went off the post. You're trying to see if it hit off the post, and that's kind of gets confusing when the field goal post is located so close to the crossbar.
Well, yeah, I mean, it looks like it's only maybe a foot or so above the top of the soccer net. So definitely something that I'm sure the players are definitely going to keep an eye on as well.
I'm not going to say it'd be hugely disappointing for Shy Nation to get the tie, but I'd say for about 75% of this match, they've outplayed Springfield, but just can't find a way to score yet.
Yeah, if you're Shy Nation, I think you have to try to stick with the game plan. It's worked for you up until this point. You know, maybe try to a little something here and there, but otherwise, that one's just off the side of the net. A good opportunity from Springfield.
It was a fantastic pass. It was read well by Devin Eghai, though. He played it well post to post. Came all the way from the far post to the near one, and even if it was on net, most likely would have gone right into the breadbasket of Devin Eghai. But yeah, Shy Nation's got to be careful. You want the 3 points, but it'd be even worse to not get at least 1 point tonight. Player of the match has probably been Devin Eghai.
Yeah, I was just about to say, he's had a very solid game up until this point. He moves laterally very well, covering those posts. We've seen it time and time again that he just takes away the corners.
Yeah, I have not seen a lot of games doing play-by-play for this team in Shy Nation. He does not give up a lot of goals. This is one of the ways to beat Shy Nation is 1-0. You're very rarely going to beat them 5-3, 3-2. Good lead pass. And no choice but to kick that out of bounds. And that's what a good lead pass does, partner. It doesn't always go on the foot of the intended target. It gets to a spot where the defender either has to kick it out or try to play it. And if he plays it, it could get stolen by the intended target. Meanwhile, Shy Nation maintaining their attack. They're going to stay aggressive as they really want those 3 points. Out to Sutton on the sideline.
And with the lead passes, partner, we've seen it. It allows Shy Nation to spend time in their offensive zone. It's only going to lead to more opportunities, and it's going to keep Springfield away from possibly putting one in the net.
Time of possession's definitely been advantage Shy Nation. Out to the midway line. As it's played now by Budrek. And maybe one of the few intelligent players on the pitch. We're in the winter cap. Dizdarevich, lead pass out in front. And Springfield looking for an offsides call. They're going to say foul on Springfield. Dizdarevich is going to take the free kick.
This is where Shy Nation, they want to take advantage of this opportunity for themselves because they've had some chances. They've missed the net a couple of times. Now is their best chance. They get a free kick, put this one on the net, try to get it low, and sneak one through here for a 1-0 lead.
Cup check. Make sure you're wearing the protective equipment if you're going to take one for the team.
I don't know if a cup's going to save you from a kick at that distance. Oh,
got in the way of it. Second chance. Blocked again.
He stood there and he took it. You might feel it tomorrow.
Turned around, got it right on the buttocks twice.
There's a lot of padding there.
It hurts when you get hit on the buttocks, but it hurts even more getting hit on the groin, even with a cup. Because remember, that is a big, round ball. A baseball, it's smaller, right? So when you get hit, you don't really feel it. But a soccer ball, how big it is.
I prefer no type of ball to hit me
But
below the waist.
If you had to pick your poison, probably the baseball over the
I suppose you've got
ball.
a smaller chance of it hitting a specific place.
But then again, the soccer ball's going, 75 miles an hour? The baseball in the majors coming 99. Chapman throws at 106.
Like I said, I'd rather just not get hit.
Just be a good catcher if you're catching Chapman. You get down and you use your chest protector to block the ball.
Dive out of the way. Put a hole in your chest, too. I was actually just watching that today. 10 years ago was when Aroldis Chapman was throwing 106.
That's still the fastest, right?
Yeah, technically 105.8, I think, is what it ended up coming out to be.
I still can't believe that Reds team never won a World Series. With Votto, Chapman, Cueto.
They had some good talent on that team, and now you look at the Reds, and they've either sold everyone off or everyone's just left, and they're bottom feeders in the Central.
I think Homer Bailey threw 2 no-hitters for the Reds.
Yes, he did. And got paid afterwards and really never went on to do anything else.
Great dribbling that time by Lopez. Another fantastic lead pass. Trying to maintain possession, fakes the shot. At the 15-yard line, looking for Lopez. Fakes the pass to Lopez, too high again. Partner, you got to get it on net.
Yeah, it almost feels like at times, especially right there, that there wasn't a whole lot for him to do. So he just figured, I might as well throw it at the net. But again, you got to make it at least close. Or at that point, it's essentially a turnover.
Right, so either you get it on net, you get that nice low shot, or you just kick it back to the 20-yard line, see if you can regroup to get something better.
Can't be giving away possessions, especially in a game that you have dominated almost up to this point.
Jones fakes the kick. Try to get that on net. It's been the Achilles heel for Shy Nation tonight. Devin Aghai has bailed them out a couple of times, too.
Looked like we might have had like a substitution issue or something. Someone tried to come onto the field too early or something there. That's what's holding us up here.
Yeah, they're trying to sub in Zaha Shakidchenko.
Good job, partner. It's better than I would have done without even looking at it.
What a name, Zaha Shakidchenko. As much as I love Kyle Smith, doesn't really flow off the tongue as well. Out in front, great chance for Shy Nation. Shot in the net. The sub scores. Zaha Shakidchenko.
A little flex on him there for the goal. Yeah, he ran up the right wing and was able to sneak by the defender and sneak that one inside the net for the 1-0 lead, and that's exactly what Shy Nation was looking for. Now it's time they can afford to play that 4-3-3 that they were in, try to hold this lead, take the 3 points in the standings.
Well, Jones did everything he could, partner, but just too many good lead passes. And really, you can't really blame Springfield on those passes either. They were put in the right spot where only the attacking player could get. Only way you could defend that is if you slide tackle at the ball. But if you slide tackle at the ball, you might have gotten the legs anyways, which would have been a foul. So great passing. The better team has been Shy Nation tonight. But some lackadaisical plays on defense. Springfield could have snuck in with a win, but looks like Peru did enough on goalkeeping. We still have enough soccer left to see what happens, but it looks like Shy Nation is going to squeeze by with the 1-0 win.
And another lazy pass.
More. Bad pass. Shy Nation on the attack. Save by Jones.
Great offense there from Shy Nation, turning the defense into a great shot but a better save. Needed that one. You cannot afford to go down 2-0 if you're Springfield, especially back-to-back goals within 30 seconds.
Yeah, especially because they haven't really gotten much of anything on offense. One of the two main opportunities they had was a free kick. They had that other play, too, where it was a 3-on-2, and they tried to go from post to post with it, but they couldn't get the shot on net.
Little bump off the ball there. Good defense.
And I think that's another reason why soccer is known as the beautiful game. You know, in hockey, sometimes you get those 50 save games. In soccer, you might only have 3 saves as a goalie, but 3 of those saves were spectacular ones sometimes. Whereas in a hockey game, sometimes there's 50 shots on goal, but it might be, you know, from bad angles that were easy to save.
Yeah, a couple rollers that might just kind of pop into the goalie's chest where, yeah, in soccer, you've got a big net to cover, you've got no padding, and you've got to dive around, put your body on the line pretty much every single time that ball is there.
So for people that are a little hesitant for liking soccer, and I get it, you know, everybody loves stats. That's why Fangraphs is around. That's why there's 538.com. But look beyond the box score. Just because the goalie had only 3 saves on 3 shots on goal does not mean he did not have a great game.
That's 100% save percentage. That is a great game.
True, but if you go 50 for 50 in hockey, which is very hard to do, by the way, but if you go 50 for 50 in hockey or 49 for 50, on paper, at first glance, it looks better than 3 for 3.
Agreed. Now, I will say, you know, the goalie, that's a tough position. I never really played soccer myself, but messing around in gym class, I was sitting there playing goalie one time, and I had one of our varsity soccer players kick the ball at me. It hit me right in the nose. I never got in another net.
You got to be the right kind of person to be a goalie. It's in soccer and hockey, you're only paid to stop the ball, and you have to use your body to stop it. Whereas every other position, like in hockey, for example, you block the shot, and then it can become a breakaway, so your defense becomes offense. If you're a goalie, you're only playing defense the entire game. And so you have to have that right mentality to not be selfish, and you just have to do whatever you can to stop the ball, and it can sometimes be a thankless job.
It can, and you know, you don't get rewarded, like you said, if you get 3 of 3 from saves, but then you get absolutely ridiculed if you let 1 goal go by and you lose 1-0. So
right.
It is a thankless job. I think you're right.
Very important job.
Lazy shot there makes it an easy save.
I understand, though, frustrated. You're hoping that maybe Devin Eghai dropped it and you get a potential garbage rebound goal, but yeah, you're right. Too far away to get any kind of emphasis on that shot. For Shy Nation, Shikichenko with the difference-making goal. Came right into the game. Fierce shot. And that's been a problem for Springfield tonight, partner. They just don't have a lot of subs. In a game like this, it's easier for Shy Nation to go to the bench in front. Oh. One-timer chance.
Another fantastic opportunity. Hit him right down the middle. He just out of reach. Wasn't able to poke it in.
A little slow to get up. We appreciate Oak Forest High School soccer watching. The text line is still open, 330-957-7653. Your favorite high school, college, or MLS memory. Champions and Premier League also allowed as well, as is World Cup. We're in the 71st minute.
I think you're starting to see some pressing coming out of Springfield, especially on the defensive end. They're starting to try to get a little more aggressive, trying to take the ball away, which here, when you need the ball and you need goals, it can be a good thing, but can't put yourself in a bad position and fall down 2-0.
Chung with it out in front, and Shy Nation does the correct thing of just clearing it. Shikichenko. Now played at midfield. Shy Nation might not be the most talented team in the United Premier Soccer League, but they sure have some awesome names. Dizdarevich, Shikichenko.
And I will say, they seem like a very fundamentally sound team. They pass the ball pretty well. They dribble it. They're patient and calm.
The only time we've seen Springfield have chances on net is when Shy Nation isn't really paying attention. When they're fully in their game and they're hustling and knowing their passing lanes, it's been very tough for Springfield to have any kind of chances on the offensive end. Out to the boundary, read well by Springfield. They're staying a little conservative with it, a little bit too conservative for my liking. They're going to have to get more aggressive in the next 5 minutes. Lead pass, that time to Shikitchenko, just out of his reach, so a goal kick coming up. If you're just joining us, the only goal of this game came in the second half. Springfield has had limited chances. Shy Nation had another great chance off a steal after they made it 1-0. Shikitchenko was not the starter in this game.
He was one of those players that wanted to get off the bench and get warm, and he did it immediately with a big goal.
Nothing feels better in a cold game when you have the go-ahead goal. The only goal, in fact. That's what makes soccer the beautiful game, right? You can contribute to this game in a lot of different ways. You don't have to start to be a contributing player. Looking for the foul.
It's great effort there by the defense by Shy Nation. Took two offensive players there and was still able to take the ball away.
What a pass that was and a goal for Shikitchenko.
It's those lead passes. We've seen it time and time again from Shy Nation, and this one finally connects and puts him in the driver's seat for the rest of this match.
Out to Shikitchenko. Looks a little gassed right now. Fakes the shot. Very nice deke, but just couldn't finish the play.
No, and I think he tried to do a little too much dribbling through all that. Try to get a pass to the front of the net and set up another opportunity for a shot.
Yeah, he was trying to do that ankle-breaking play, pass it to himself and shot, but even so, partner, you bring up a good point. Even if he had somehow gotten past the initial defender, it still would have been like a 30-degree angle shot. Would have been a pretty easy save for Jones.
Yeah, and he ended up getting too deep as well. The goalie was almost face-to-face with him.
Yeah, it would have been a point-blank shot right at his hip or something. Shy Nation, if they can keep this intensity on defense, they have more than enough goals. I haven't seen enough from Springfield to feel like they're going to tie this one up if Shy Nation keeps their 4-3-3 or even a 5-3-2.
I agree, but you don't want to fall asleep, especially on defense. You don't want to get comfortable because, it only takes one. And that's when we've seen Shy Nation get into a little bit of trouble in this match, is when they do kind of take their foot off the gas pedal a little bit.
Out to the boundary. It was kicked over that time by Tajay Small. Don't go anywhere. The post-game show brought to you by Sports Broadcast Solutions coming up next. Unless things change, it'll be Shikitchenko, the difference maker in this game. Wasn't the prettiest game from Shy Nation, but they did enough to be in the position they're in right now. Big free kick coming up. Out in front, Devin Egghai. Oh, it's loose. It was a good shot that time, Anthony. Got it on net. A lot of good things can happen when you get it on net. Peru initially couldn't caress the ball, and almost a rebound try for Springfield. Out to the sideline, played well by Shy Nation, past the 30. And no one home to get that pass. Murphy Damatian now into the game for Springfield as they go to their bench. Only 4 subs remaining. We'll probably see them go to the bench again in the next couple of minutes. Charles Agbagwu in the game as well. Agbagu. At the 39-yard line, little lead pass in front. 3 defenders around it as he feeds it that time to Zajibwami. Kicked over that time to Damatian. And Damatian on his left foot. Nice move by Damatian. There is Shitkichenko. And Shy Nation not happy about it, but I do think it's the right call.
I don't know about that one, partner. He tried to maneuver between 3 people and then just kind of fell down. I think if you're Shy Nation, I think you've got a reason to be a little upset about that one. Because here, this sets up a good opportunity for Springfield to try to get back in this game.
The question is, did he get all ball, or did he get foot before the ball? I think he got foot before the ball. Even if it's inadvertent, it's still a foul. If you're going to slide tackle, you got to get all ball, not foot first. Out in front, shot. It's in the net. Tie score. Big call. Springfield takes advantage of it. Maybe a shot that Devin Egai should have had. And Springfield still alive for the tie.
Yep, and here, that's exactly why you could tell Shy Nation wasn't too happy. Those are not situations that you want to find yourself in when you're up 1-0. You're heading towards the final parts of this match. I think it got in their head a little bit, made them think. It allowed Springfield back in.
Well, Devin Egai has had an excellent game. I don't know, Anthony. Do you think he should have had that one? I think he should have had it.
I do. And, especially after seeing the types of saves that he's made to this point, it looked like that one just got away from him a little bit.
It was a good shot, don't get me wrong, but it didn't go far post or near post. It went right at Devin Egai, and he just wasn't able to get low and get that ball. And now for Shy Nation to get the win, they're going to have to score again.
And this is where that Shy Nation offense, they need to try to pick up their goaltender because he's kept them in this game. He's made some good saves. He let one get away. Now go get it back for him. Try to find a way to get it to the front of the net, maybe possibly see another lead pass to spring something open.
How big that save was by Jones after the steal by Shy Nation out in front. Jones made the save. That made it not be a 2-0 score. And I'm not sure why he fell to the turf.
Sniper.
But Jones slides and picks it up. We are now in the 80th minute, but we will have extra time. This is a big tie early on for Springfield. They were outplayed most of the night, partner. But a call, you think it was the wrong call. I think it was the right one. Either way, Shy Nation needed to just shake it off and get back into the play.
And I think that's what got them, is they let it get to them. They thought about the call, whether they liked it or not. You have to put it behind you and make a play, and they couldn't. And now you have to watch out for the Springfield team. They found some life now. Can't fall asleep. You've got to turn the pedal back on if you're Shy Nation.
Yeah, got to keep on the gas pedal, find a way to score. We're at the 79-56 mark. And a goal on a free kick. The other thing is, too, partner, how that pass was able to get through the middle like that. It was an easy pass to get through. At the end line, who touched it last? Shy Nation looking for a call. Well, it'd be a goal kick regardless. I think what Shy Nation is arguing was intentional. If it's intentional, it'd be a yellow card. Because the free kick really doesn't matter. It's a goal kick regardless if it's a free kick or a goal kick. But Shy Nation is arguing, did he tug at the feet for the yellow card? And this is costly for Shy Nation because the clock continues to run. And like I said, it's the Shy Nation's home pitch. They know it well. Springfield doesn't. Springfield came from a long way to come to this game, and they were outplayed most of the night, but they found a way to get one past Devin Egghai, and now it's 1-1.
So you mentioned this being Shy Nation's home field. Outside of it maybe being a football field with some different lines, it is a turf field. What is kind of the difference there, Kyle?
Yeah, turf, you're going to get more of, if you're a big baseball fan, now you get that Metrodome bounce. Grass, you don't get that friendly bounce off the turf. So for that, obviously, soccer players, most of them prefer turf because you get more of those friendly bounces. But turf can be more susceptible to ACL injuries than grass if you keep the grass well and well kept. Some of these Park District grass fields are not well kept, and there's dirt piles that come out of nowhere that you can trip onto. So turf, that never happens. It's really give and take what each player prefers. But yeah, most players would prefer the turf over the grass because they're easier to maintain than grass fields.
Yeah, susceptible to ACL, stuff like that, because the cleats just kind of get caught in the turf, and you try to make a cut, try to make a turn.
Out in front, another try, Devin Egghai, brilliant save. Damatian almost had the go-ahead goal, the game winner, but Peru Devin Egghai with a brilliant save.
I think he was out of position there a little bit. Had to dive back to his right and make that save. Athletic play.
Now they got to be careful, partner. Now Shy Nation is very close from not getting any points tonight.
And that's what happens. You lead pretty much the entire game, but you let Springfield right back in it. They tie it up, and now they've got the energy.
How much more energy does Shy Nation have in them? It's a battle of cardio. Who has more cardio? The war of attrition. Who can finalize this game with a victory?
When you mentioned the subs, with Shy Nation having so many more, so fatigue and being tired, I get it, it's the first game of the season, but you've got the depth. You've got the players to make it happen where you're not tired. Got to dig deep here.
And if players get tired, Shy Nation can go to the bench quicker than Springfield can. For Shy Nation, they really need this win. It's their home pitch. They've outplayed them most of the night. Springfield would love to have the tie. And right now, partner, they're thinking win, as they almost had the go-ahead goal a couple minutes ago. Now for Shy Nation, you got to find a way to at least get 1 point. Don't play around with it in your own territory. Just clear it quickly, even if that means kicking it out of bounds.
Well, it's crazy how quickly that can change, because throughout the first half, it almost seemed like Springfield was the one playing for the tie, and now they get a late goal. Now the tides are changing. Shy Nation maybe just playing for tie here.
Shy Nation with it. Shitkichenko, bad pass. Try to get it between two players. Shy Nation luckily got it back. Lopez with it now on his right foot. He feeds it. That time, good pass over to Voisha. Out in front, can't get it on net.
Another really high shot.
And the thing is, too, partner, it's not like Jones is a small goalie. He's got decent size, so if that was the game plan to go high because he's small, that would obviously be foolish. I think they're just missing their spot. They want to go low, but it ends up high instead.
Maybe trying to be a little too fine, trying to get it over the defenders and not bringing it down enough.
You want to get that right spot on the ball so that it doesn't go too high. You kick it at the wrong spot, you're not going to have control of the ball, and that's why it just betrays you in a sense and goes above the crossbar. Shy Nation's going to have to attack. Like I said, Springfield would love to have the tie, so they're going to play conservative as well down the stretch. If Shy Nation wants to win, they're going to have to bring midfielders up to get the steal. Player of the match. For Shy Nation, it's definitely been Shitkichenko. Shy Nation maintaining the attack, stolen away, still loose.
And a turnover in the zone.
Here comes the midfielders for Shy Nation. Lost it. And it's a foul called against Springfield. Chi Nation wants to pick up the pace here, but they're going to first evaluate their teammate, make sure he's not injured. And partner, in a night like this where it's colder, hitting the turf like that feels even worse than, let's say, a 50 or 60 degree day.
Yeah, it's going to sting a little bit longer, and then you're laying down on the really cold ground. He got up pretty quick. He realized, got to move around, keep it warm.
Slow to get up that time was Lebovich.
An opportunity here.
Yeah, get something on net. One pass and a shot. Little tap pass, easily read by Springfield, still loose. Out to the sideline now. Chi Nation will have to regroup. They've got time, though. Remember, we have 5 minutes of extra time soccer. The refs would love to have an official winner, not a tie. Lead pass in front. Shitkichenko almost got his second goal tonight.
That's a good pass.
Sneaky little devil, number 11 is. He just kind of sneaks behind the defense and tries to get that shot on net.
Yeah, good pass, just barely out of the reach. It wasn't the greatest angles, but you know, we've seen him put it in from that side of the pitch before.
It's been a fun one in Chicago. Actually, outside of Chicago in Glen Ellen. Nice pass once again to Shitkichenko, but they just couldn't finish. Dizdarevich over to Lopez. Turnaround pass. Dizdarevich had it briefly, stolen away by Springfield. Here come SFC. Stolen away. Good job by McLeod. Back to McLeod. Over to Dizdarevich. Feeding it in front. Read well by Springfield. And then clearing it is Springfield. Springfield now on the attack, as that was a brilliant clear that time by Small. Over to Devin Eghigh. Outside the reach of Chang. And a little underhand pass.
That's one of those ones, the Springfield looking to dump the ball in, kill some time.
San Diego State is going to the title game. As a lead pass over to the right to Lopez.
What a run from FAU, though. How about that? Their first time making the Final Four in program history.
First time they ever won a tournament game. It was a buzzer beater by Butler to send San Diego State to the title game. It's 37-24 halftime lead for the UConn Huskies. Jim Larinaga has never won a national championship, and it looks like he's going to have to wait at least one more year unless Miami can make some serious adjustments at halftime.
Miami also playing in their first Final Four this year.
Yep.
Would have been something to see two Florida teams both in their first national championship.
And when I went on Google Maps, I found out they're located less than an hour away from each other. Boca Raton for FAU and Miami. They actually play in Coral Gables, but pretty cool stuff. But unless things change, both Miami teams will not be playing in the championship game. Meanwhile, Chi Nation would love to play in the national championship again. They went in 2021, and they have lost in the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 since then. During the summer of 2021, fall of 2021, they were in the national championship game for the UPSL.
Right now, though, trying to find a way to put the ball into the back of the net again.
Yeah, they really need that win. I mean, it's your home pitch. You've outplayed them most of the night. Great pass. Left-footed kick.
And there it is.
Into the back of the net. Chi Nation back on top.
Great passing there. Sets up a great angle, and he tucks it in that bottom right corner to tie this one up.
You mean take the lead. That time it was Denny Voisa, the local kid, with the go-ahead goal. Back and forth we go. Does Springfield have any more answers?
That one comes late in the second half. Still got a couple minutes of extra time, but that one might be the deciding factor. And that's almost one that takes all the wind out of the sails for Springfield. They thought they might have a chance, might be coming back, and then all of a sudden the ball is back in the net.
Give credit where credit is due to this coaching staff for Chi Nation, led by Garrett Hayward.
Yeah, they've had a good game plan coming into it, and they've executed it very well. They've kind of gotten away from it at times. They've kind of relaxed a little bit, but when they've had to, they've made the plays.
And you love to see it. They pick up their goalie. Wasn't the best night for Peru, although he made some brilliant saves tonight. But he wasn't perfect, and Chi Nation picked up their goalie to have the lead now at 2-1. How about that? The local kid, Denny Voice, with the goal. And that's the problem, partner, when you just don't have a lot of subs. It hurts. Each team plays hard the first 45 minutes. In soccer, sometimes it's the next 45 minutes. And when you have lesser subs, fresh legs are attacking your tired legs. And I think that's what happened to Springfield tonight. The tired legs could not compete with the fresh legs of Chi Nation. Chi Nation wants a yellow card, but that was just inadvertent. And now if you're Chi Nation, partner, you can start playing the game of kicking it out of bounds to waste time if you get into bad spots. Or if you get beat on the play, you can kick it back to your goalie. Anything to get the win.
Yeah, now if you're Chi Nation, you're certainly in the game of let's play some defense, let's hold on to the ball, control it, and let's get out of here with a win.
Shitkichenko sure is fun to watch. Left-footed kick block. Shitkichenko there for the second try.
Oh, he was coming for another hard shot there.
Good tap pass. Last chance for Springfield. Can they keep it in? Well.
And there it was. Chi Nation started coming down to the other side of the field. He just knocks it out of bounds and allows them to get reset up on defense.
Reed Strain, the only player wearing the beanie cap. I say he's one of the most intelligent players.
Yeah, I was going to say
out.
Smartest one out there. I think he's the only one with sleeves and gloves, too.
Doesn't feel good when your ears are cold on a night like this. Chi Nation, if they want, can kick it out, but they're going to play through it and try to score again. And that'll do it. Chi Nation wins 2-1. Brilliant game by Chi Nation. Springfield gave them a show. And it was a fight from Springfield, but just too much Chi Nation, too much help from their subs. And partner, it's a 2-1 win for Chi Nation, but it wasn't a perfect game. There are some things that Chi Nation needs to work on. What are those things?
Ultimately, what I think it's going to be is not taking their foot off the gas pedal and kind of starting to play a little more conservative, especially when you have the lead. Kind of towards the end of that first half, beginning of the second half, they kind of took the foot off the gas pedal a little bit, but was able to turn it on. They felt a little bit of pressure from that goal from Springfield, flipped that switch back on, and was able to find the equalizer.
So we will take a break, and then it's time for the post-game show. Denny Voisa is going to lead it. The game winner, a 2-1 win for Chi Nation, their first game of the season. They are undefeated, 1-0 on the year. We'll take a break. Post-game show coming up next here on SBS, a broadcasting network for everyone. Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals is taking place between the Sacramento Kings and the Los Angeles Lakers. With the Lakers down by 2 in less than 10 seconds remaining, one of the NBA's winningest franchises is very close to succumbing to an insurmountable 3-1 deficit. And while the Kings are in a great spot to win on the road, they probably shouldn't even be in this extremely stressful situation. If the Kings can hold on for the win, they'll be one step closer to reaching the NBA Finals for the first time in over 50 years. All they need is a defensive stop without fouling. And for the Lakers, they need a clutch contested shot to avoid losing their second straight home game against their in-state rival. But there's so much more happening here besides a potential 3-1 series edge or 2-2 series tie. To
fully appreciate the magnitude of what happens next for both teams' fan bases, we have to do our due diligence. We have to research as much as possible. In layman's terms, we need to rewind. Down by 2 and the clock ticking. The Lakers are in a precarious spot. They can either go for the win with a 3 or try to make a contested mid-range jumper and play for overtime. The Lakers used to own the Kings in the postseason. Shaquille O'Neal even compared the team to their female counterpart in the monarchy system.
We're not worried about the Sacramento Queens.
The Kings are now playing the Lakers for the third straight time in the postseason. After nearly pulling off an 8-seed versus 1 upset in 2000, Sacramento is trying to avenge last season's playoff sweep at the hands of the two-time defending champions. Going into the 2002 postseason, the Kings were 0-5 in all 5 of their road games at the Staples Center. But things are different this time around, as the Kings won Game 3 in LA just 2 days ago. And with summer less than a month away, the Kings are seconds away from taking a very important 3 games to 1 edge. But the team with the Western Conference's best record shouldn't be in this spot. Let me explain.
Sacramento led by 20 points at the end of the first quarter,
and they increased its cushion to as many as 24 after a dunk by Hedo Turkoglu gave his team a 48-24 lead early in the second quarter. The Lakers then made it respectable by becoming lethal from downtown. 6 of their last 8 points were via the three-pointer, including a buzzer beater by Samaki Walker at the end of the first half. Still, the Lakers are nowhere near their usual dominance against the Kings. A 14-point halftime deficit is certainly better than 24, but with Mike Bibby scoring 15 of his 18 team-leading points away from the three-point line, the Lakers are basically getting destroyed off the dribble. Every single Lakers starter has a plus-minus worse than a -5. Devion George's 7 points off the bench are quite possibly keeping Los Angeles in the game, and for the Kings, they could practically smell a trip to the NBA Finals. All they have to do is hang on for the dub. A 65-51 lead at halftime doesn't guarantee victory, of course, but the Kings can smell blood after getting swept by the Lakers during last season's Western Conference semifinals. The Kings are one step closer to achieving something they haven't done since they used to play in Rochester, New York, reach the NBA championship round. During the infancy days of the National Basketball Association, the small-market Rochester Royals defeated the New York Knickerbockers 4-3. It was a big win for the NBA, as it proved to the fans even small markets could compete with the top media markets and glamour of New York City and Boston. However, even after the team moved to the Rochester War Memorial Arena in 1955, the Harrison brothers were forced to move the team to Cincinnati in 1957, and while the Cincy Royals got close to getting back to the NBA Finals in 1963, those pesky Boston Celtics eventually defeated them 4-3 during the Eastern Conference Finals. In those days, the EC Finals were known as the Division Finals, and the Royals returned to the Division Finals in 1964. This time around, Boston easily took care of Cincinnati in 5 games, despite Oscar Robertson scoring at least 30 points in 3 of those games. Robertson, Jerry Lucas, and the Royals returned to the playoffs 3 straight seasons from 1965 to 1967, only to meet their kryptonite in the Philadelphia 76ers and the aforementioned Celtics. And by the time 1972 came around, the Kings were forced to relocate between Kansas City and Omaha, Nebraska. Kansas City became the Kings' permanent home during the 1975-76 season, and they stayed there until the 1985 regular season concluded. The last time the Kings advanced to the NBA's version of the Final Four, they played their home games in Kansas City. The Houston Rockets took care of the KC Kings in 5 games that series in 1981, and even during their time in Kansas City, the Kings got swept by the Lakers during the playoffs. That time around, it took place in the 1984 postseason. So if NBA fans take their Kansas City days into account, the Kings are 0-3 in the playoffs against Los Angeles. And for Kansas City fans who still follow the team now that they're in the capital of California, it's personal. So if the Lakers think Peja Stojakovic, Chris Webber, and crew are going to ease up on the home team in the second half, they have another thing coming. Not only have the Lakers been a thorn in Sacramento's side, but they also had the Utah Jazz on the ropes during the 1999 NBA playoffs, only to lose by 1 in Game 4 and during overtime in Game 5. But the Lakers had more than just Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal to bail them out of trouble. Robert Horry, or Big Shot Bob as he's sometimes called, is no stranger to the pressure cooker. When Horry was in Houston, the Rockets won back-to-back NBA titles during the Michael Jordan brief retirement years. Incredibly, Horry was almost a Detroit Piston, but the Horry for Sean Elliott 1-for-1 deal was rescinded once Elliott failed a physical because of health problems. According to Horry, When Elliott failed his physical, it inevitably saved his career. Horry then rewarded his Rockets team with the Rockets, of course, defeated the Spurs and swept the Magic to win the NBA championship. Horry, Clyde Drexler, Hakeem Olajuwon, and the Rockets then rallied as a 16 in the Western Conference to win a second straight NBA title in 1995. However, after coming short of a three-peat in 1996, Houston's front office decided to move Horry, Sam Cassell, and a couple of other players to Phoenix in exchange for future Hall of Famer Charles Barkley. The Phoenix trade didn't work out that well for Horry, and after Horry had a notable on-court altercation with head coach Danny Ainge, Horry's towel throw at his head coach made his days in Phoenix numbered. The Lakers pounced at the chance of acquiring a two-time NBA champion. It only cost them Cedric Cabellos in the 1997 deal. The Horry trade was done to give the team more of a veteran presence than a legitimate scoring threat, as Big Shot Bob averaged more than 11 points per game in just one of his Houston seasons. However, while not a big factor in the postseason the last two NBA Finals for the Lakers, Horry was still big against the 76ers during the 2001 Finals. 12 of his 15 total points came during the fourth quarter of Game 3. During Game 4, Horry knocked down 3 of the Lakers' 10 three-pointers en route to the win. Would Horry be needed down the stretch of this crucial Game 4? Quite possibly, since he basically stole away the starting power forward job from Samaki Walker, and by the time the third quarter ended, Horry was once again a thorn in the opponent's side. The last 3 points of the quarter came because of Horry, as the former Rocket and Sun drained 3 of his 4 shots from the free throw line. Just like that, the once proud 65-51 lead for the Kings is now just 80-73 entering the fourth quarter. But the Kings need more from Bibby if they're going to notch the victory. After scoring 18 in the first half, Sacramento's starting point guard has become a ghost. Bibby scored just 3 points in the second half, and the Kings now have to rely on Vlade Divac to get them critical buckets down the stretch. In a twist of fate, Divac used to play for the Lakers, but when Kobe Bryant was drafted by the Charlotte Hornets in 1996, Lakers general manager Jerry West fleeced the Hornets with the trade of the century by giving them Divac for the 18-year-old Hooper. While Divac is not a terrible player by any means, Bryant is one of the NBA's all-time greatest players. Divac wasn't happy about the trade, and he originally threatened to retire rather than move to North Carolina. However, the Serbian center relented on his retirement idea, and the trade became official on July 9, 1996. So not only are the Kings trying to avoid several postseason disappointing finishes at the hands of the Lakers, but Divac would like nothing better than to stick it to his former employer. And he's played great in the second half, finishing with 12 points. His 17-footer made it 98-93 Kings with just 117 remaining. Still, it would have been nice if Divac made both of his free throw attempts with under 12 seconds to go. As it currently stands, the Lakers need a 2-pointer or 2 shots at the charity stripe to force overtime. In a crazier twist of fate, Shaq made both of his free throws to keep it a 1-point deficit. Of all the people to knock down free throws, Shaq would be at the bottom of the list for the Lakers fans who trust players at the charity stripe. The future NBA Hall of Famer once missed 11 free throws in a game against the Seattle Supersonics. But Shaq, of all people, made the Kings pay for fouling him, and because of his clutch free throws, a 3-pointer can win the game. But there's no way the Lakers could win the game on a 3, right? Well, anything's possible, and with Big Shot Bob in the game, never say never. In fact, Horry is the only Laker the team trusts with a potential game winner on the line. Derek Fisher is an atrocious 1 of 7 from behind the arc tonight. Kobe has only attempted 1-3, and head coach Phil Jackson has decided to not put Devion George back into the game since he's 0 for 3 from deep range. All right, here we go. The Lakers need a 2-pointer to force overtime or a 3-pointer to even up the series. The Kings just need a defensive stop. If they can force the Lakers to brick on this possession, Sacramento can put the series on ice with a win back in Northern California. Shaq once called their opponent the Sacramento Queens. And if the Kings are playing like a women's basketball team, they certainly look like a juggernaut from the WNBA. It's Kings 99, Lakers 97, with under 12 seconds to go. Welcome to a moment in history.
As the Lakers did it at Seattle.
Big Shot Bob to the rescue once again. What a way to end it. Make sure to comment below and subscribe to Sports Broadcast Solutions.
Hi guys, this is Alan from C1 Transportation. I have good news. We are hiring over-the-road drivers with 2 or more years of experience. Our drivers make $100,000 to $120,000 a year driving 3 to 4 weeks at a time. Don't miss your chance to start driving with C1 Transportation and call our recruiter right now.
Needed flatbed drivers for Step Deck and Conestoga with opportunity, direct deposit weekly, sign-on bonuses, paid orientation and paid clean inspections, $2,000, $2,300 based on driver's performance. New equipment 2022 and 23 trucks and trailers. Fast maintenance at our shop located at the yard. 24/7 assistance, weekly pay on direct deposit. Flexible home time, dedicated all year round projects. Sign-on bonus, $125 per month for 1 year plus 1 week paid vacation. Travel and lodging provided during orientation and breakdown. Earning on average from $85,000 to $100,000 per year gross. Paid orientation $75 per day for qualified drivers. Looking for a better job? Join us, C1 Transportation.
Hello guys, how you doing? My name is Robert Mitten. As you can see, I'm part of the C1 team. C1 is gonna be #1. I had a Class B CDL license for about 4 years. I just upgraded to a Class A. When it comes to experience, I have about 6 months experience. I found this company by a good friend of mine named Andy. He also helped my cousin get in named Ricardo. And we have a friend of mine named Twan. He's here with us. It's a great company to work for. It's a growing company. Also, my supervisor, Danny, he's the best. He's a real good guy, man. Hey, Danny. With all the other drivers, everybody here, we all get along. We work together as a team. That's pretty much it, guys. Just, you know, if you're interested, apply. It's a great company to work for. The staff is perfect. C1 is gonna be #1.
Welcome to the post-game show brought to you by Sports Broadcast Solutions, a broadcasting network for everyone. My name's Kyle Smith, but I, of course, don't matter. This man matters. Danny Volka, who had the game-winning goal, 2-1 win for Chi Nation, a big-time win on their home pitch. They get 3 points. Springfield gets none. It was looking a little bit iffy there. Springfield scores on the free kick to make it 1-1, but you guys come storming back for the 2-1 win. What does that mean to you?
Well, that means a lot for me, especially if it's my first game for Nation. I hope that they will take this as a gift for taking me to the team and then welcoming so warm here. Thank you to the coach for bringing me in, and then yeah, that's a lot. Everybody worked hard. They were running a lot, and then I think we deserve to win.
Peru was fantastic between the pipes tonight. Goal went past him that he might have, should have had, but you guys were there to pick him up. Did you say anything to him when they tied it up at 1-1?
Yeah, I say that we need to pressure a lot. We don't have too much time. We need to stay tight to get the ball, and then 1-2, score. Shoot it. Don't waste your time.
You guys seem to be really good tonight with those lead passes, trying to split the D. In fact, sometimes you were splitting the D. You were putting that lead pass in a spot where only your player could get it, they couldn't get it. What have you worked on in practice with those lead passes?
Well, we are practicing a lot at trainings. We are trying to to bring that one player up over there, so create more spaces. And then, yeah, I think you saw it tonight. It was good for us, and yeah, we won.
What does it mean to you that you guys got the 3 points instead of the 1?
Well, it means a lot. It's 3 points, right? We are the champions, and then we need to keep it up. We need to keep winning. We cannot lose points home, especially home.
What can you guys work on? There were a lot of good things tonight, but some things that weren't so great that you can work on for your next game to be even more perfect on the pitch to make your record 2-0 this year.
Well, probably we need to move the ball more and then to shoot more. I think that when we get in the front over there, we are passing too much on the sides instead of being more on the goal.
It seems like some of those shots were a little bit too high. What are you guys going to work on in practice? Try to get that shot more low to either get it into the back of the net or get those rebound tries.
Well, we need to practice the shots, right? So that's what we're going to practice more, the shots.
That's Danny Volka, and that does it for our post-game show. So for our excellent crew, for Anthony Collada, I'm Kyle Smith signing off. A 2-1 win for Chi Nation, and we'll see you next time on Sports Broadcast Solutions. Welcome to the post-game show brought to you by Sports Broadcast Solutions, a broadcasting network for everyone. My name's Kyle Smith, but I, of course, don't matter. This man matters. Danny Volka, who had the game-winning goal, 2-1 win for Chi Nation, a big-time win on their home pitch. They get 3 points. Springfield gets none. It was looking a little bit iffy there. Springfield scores on the free kick to make it 1-1, but you guys come storming back for the 2-1 win. What does that mean to you?
Well, that means a lot for me, especially if it's my first game for Nation. I hope that they all take this as a gift for taking me to the and welcoming so warm here. Thank you to the coach for bringing me in, and then yeah, that's a lot. Everybody worked hard. They were running a lot, and then I think we deserve to win.
Peru was fantastic between the pipes tonight. Goal went past him that he might have should have had, but you guys were there to pick him up. Did you say anything to him when they tied it up at 1-1?
Yeah, I say that we need to pressure a lot. We don't have too much time. We need to stay tight to get the ball, and then 1-2 score. Shoot it. Don't waste your time.
You guys seem to be really good tonight with those lead passes, trying to split the D. In fact, sometimes you were splitting the D. You were putting that lead pass in a spot where only your player could get it. They couldn't get it. What have you worked on in practice with those lead passes?
Well, we are practicing a lot at trainings. We are trying to bring that one player up over there, so create more spaces. And then, yeah, I think you saw it tonight. It was good for us, and yeah, we won.
What does it mean to you that you guys got the 3 points instead of the 1?
Well, it means a lot. It's 3 points, right? We are the champions, and then we need to keep it up. We need to keep winning. We cannot lose points home, especially home.
What can you guys work on? There were a lot of good things tonight, but some things that weren't so great that you can work on for your next game to be even more on the pitch to make your record 2-0 this year.
Well, probably we need to move the ball more and then to shoot more. I think that when we get in the front over there, we are passing too much on the sides instead of being more on the goal.
It seems like some of those shots were a little bit too high. What are you guys going to work on in practice? Try to get that shot more low.